Hey, welcome to the Destiny Help Podcast, a show that's designed to help you with the little bits of the Destiny 2 online game. My name is Todd the Gator, and whether you're a brand new Guardian to the game or a returning player, I'm here to help explain the constantly changing dynamics of this game, bring you up to speed and get you ready to jump in and start your Destiny journey. This is an audio component to my YouTube channel, which is Todd the Gator. Remember, that's 2 Ds and G-A-T-R, or you can visit youtube.com/@ToddTheGator. If you're more of a visual learner or want to refresh your memory of today's subject, you will always find a link to the video pertaining to this show's topic. Just check those show notes down there below. If you have any questions for me, I might answer on the show at a later time. Email me at toddthegator@gmail.com or send me a voicemail with your question at speakpipe.com/DestinyHelpDesk. All of these links, of course, will be in the show notes below. You can find me on Twitter at Todd the Gator as well. On this week's show, episode 3, I share what I've learned from podcasting in the Destiny community for over 3 years and why I started to revamp my YouTube channel. This is truly a passion project of mine, and I'm on a mission. All right, on with the show. Wow. What a fantastic 3 years it's been podcasting for the Destiny community. I really never knew how much fun it would be and how many new friends I would meet along the way. But here we are. My name is Todd the Gator, and I'm one of the co-hosts of Guarding Down Cast, a Destiny podcast for new and experienced players alike. My co-host, Hazelnut, and I have been working hard to create a Destiny content, engage new and old listeners alike, and even bring them to the podcast to share their Destiny stories. Throughout these past 3 years, we have built a tight-knit Discord community for Destiny players from all kinds of different backgrounds. The Guarding Down Cast community means so much to Hazelnut and I, and we'd love you to be a part of it. So I'll have the link to our other podcast in the show description down below if you're interested. I can go on about all the things I'm proud of from the past 3 years, but today's episode starts way before the podcast was even an idea. As the podcast has evolved over the past 3 years, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm in the midst of learning how to take my channel to the next level and create higher quality content for the Guarding Down Cast community. I still have much to learn, but I'm working hard. Given how much I have left to learn after 3 years of producing a podcast, imagine how terrible I was when I started playing shooters 12 years ago. How did an old geezer like me that couldn't even get a headshot to save his life end up hosting a gaming podcast? In the end, it was fate. You could even say it was destiny. I was introduced to Call of Duty back in 2007. It was my very first dive into first-person shooters. And after some awkward months to even a year of getting my butt kicked, it finally clicked, and I got good enough to at least contribute to the team in multiplayer and enjoy the process of leveling up and unlocking more weapons. And who can forget those toxic and sometimes entertaining post-game lobbies, right? Then a great new type of game came into town, Call of Duty Zombies. This was a great escape as you could play solo and try to beat out your friends on the clan and group leaderboards. I remember gaming until 5 a.m. with a few friends some nights, trying to surpass that elusive level 100. Hours and hours invested into one game, only the servers to eventually crash, and all that time that evening didn't even count. Man, we got it easy today. Then a newer version of Call of Duty called Extinction was introduced. This was my first game shooting alien creatures, protecting drills to eventually complete the mission at hand. Again, sometimes hours invested. I still have videos of this today in my channel. Go look. It's there. That game was so fun and stable as it had a fixed amount of levels until you reached the end to escape the invasion. Lots of great memories trying to beat my past completion times, all solo, which now that I think about it is why maybe this is therapy. This is why I enjoy soloing activities today. I was in training, right? Then came the Battlefield games, which was my first near photorealistic first-person shooter game. This is where I began to get into gaming clans and representing my group in game. Such great times playing Battlefield, and unfortunately, the game today really hasn't lived up to those past games that I had all those memories of. A moment of silence for Battlefield 2042. But then, this happened. I remember sitting in front of my 30-inch TV watching E3 streamed live on my PlayStation 3 and seeing this trailer. That was it. This was what I had been looking for years, and now it's finally arrived. Well, not exactly. I had to agonize and wait another year for it to actually be released. And that game was Destiny. I remember 2013 being the longest year to wait for this amazing game. As I played Destiny 1 in September of 2014, I was so enamored with how much work Bungie put into this video game world. I would just sit there on the ledge on a cliff of the Cosmodrome and listen to the ambient sounds of subtle winds, the sound of crickets and the distant howls of Fallen and Hive. The sound design was so good that I would often look behind me in my gaming chair thinking something was coming up behind me. It was just magic. As I played more of the solar system opened up, and it took weeks to discover everything on these new planets. I engaged with other activities in the game like strikes, the Crucible, raids, and the subsequent 6-man activities with each DLC. I wanted to know and play everything. I wanted the total Destiny experience, and nothing disappointed me. In fact, every facet of this game was new to me, and it was unlike anything I had experienced in prior games. Now, being the total Destiny optimist, unlike my co-host Hazel, who is, just to say, he's more realistic, I wanted to shout from the rooftops of how this great game Destiny was going to change everything in the gaming future. However, Destiny was not a perfect game. The community was ravenous for more content, and Bungie had a hard time keeping up with it. Then came Destiny 2, a total reinvention from the original game, and a chance for Bungie to learn from their mistakes. And aside from a few hiccups, remember I'm the optimist, the game just seems to get better and better. The Destiny community has gotten large and even more diverse, and I don't envy the studio trying to appease everyone, but I think they do a great job regardless. Destiny is not a perfect game, and it probably never will be, but it's the best thing in gaming that sits in a category all its own.
Best your opponents and survive. Victory is a matter of will.
Now, I think I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast that there were some things I learned from Destiny podcasting for over 3 years. So let's get into them. The first thing I learned is that there are many players out there who feel Destiny 2 is such an established and gigantic game that it's just too late to jump in now. Certainly, the New Light experience lacks much depth. And from gamers I've talked to over the years, many being friends that don't play Destiny anymore, sadly, is that with all the currencies, leveling up systems, gun mods, crafting, armor, and subclass options, and build crafting, the list goes on, that they end up getting frustrated, just move on to another game. This is sad to hear. And if they only got a little more information, maybe they just might love it as much as I do. It's a big hole in the game right now. The second thing I learned, playing the Destiny franchise has really changed the way gaming will be done in the future. Bungie is at the front of the pack, especially in the live service gaming environment. And the future is very bright. And not just for Destiny. With Sony acquiring the Bungie studio with multiple game design teams, hell, they're totally rebuilding the new facility as we speak. They've hired hundreds of more employees. There's talk of a new game IP and possible shows in development. Destiny, I believe, is just the tip of the iceberg for Bungie, and I'm all in for the ride. The third thing I realized that building a community around this game has so many rewards that I never expected. The new friendships, online and in real life, have been immense. Also, I've learned that my opinion may not be the opinion. You must have an open mind and be open to other opinions, even if they're not in agreement with your own. Playing in a community opens up an entire new world of Destiny 2 that'll make you rush home after work or class to join up with your friends to tackle that next shared challenge in game. And the last thing I learned from over 3 years of Destiny podcasting is that most players that do play this game don't engage in all aspects that the game offers. Either from the lack of knowledge or experience, or hell, maybe it's a time constraint, and they only play what they know. The average player just skims the surface of the improved depth of this game world. A sad statistic I learned is that only 10% of the player population has ever completed one raid since they began to play the game. Raids are a pinnacle activity in Destiny, and no one should shy away from them, and so many more activities that share similar fates. So taking all of this into account, I've decided to change up my YouTube channel and go in a different direction. From now on, my channel will take what I call the Trident approach. You know, the fork that Poseidon held in mythology. My channel will be based on 3, hence the Trident, approaches to content. First, I will begin short, bite-sized videos to help explain all the little pieces of Destiny. I've already made a giant list of ideas, so I'm ready. Second, I want to encourage all players in the Destiny community to tune into our podcast, Guardian Downcast, which is a more relaxed and adult-based podcast that interviews all types of players and content creators to hear their journey, and we hope that in doing this, you'll hear someone that may share your experience in the game and maybe you can relate to. We also go over the latest news and information from Bungie. We have contests and giveaways in our Discord community. We've created a competitive question and answer segment where guests can compete for annual championships. It's super fun and, more importantly, entertaining. We answer questions from our community, whether from voicemails, which we air on the show, or through our Discord channel, where we give a shout out to those who ask questions. Our goal is to entertain you every week, whether it's while at work, driving around the town, or even mowing your grass. The weekly podcast will post here every week, by the way. Or you can find out about it in our show notes below. The last and important part of this channel will be putting all of this into practice. I will live stream or record community events like raid nights, player versus player scrims, or even those grueling games of Gambit, and post them right on my YouTube channel on a separate playlist for you to ride along. And hopefully we'll convince you to join us. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this little adventure down memory lane, and please subscribe, and if you're going to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell also. You can see when I have posted some new content for new players out there, or our podcast, or our weekly scrims and live streams. Like I say, I try to post something every week on the channel and every week here on this podcast.
The path to victory is long, but there's always hope. Fight!
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. Hopefully this will encourage you to join our community and our other podcast. Keep an eye out for future episodes where I'll talk about another subject in the world of Destiny 2. Just a reminder, if you want to join our community, you can go to discord.gg/GuardianDowncast. That's where my longtime friend Hazelnut and I have another podcast, like I mentioned, for the more advanced gamers to Destiny 2, where we interview content creators and community members to discover their story and journey in Destiny. Also, if you have a question relating to today's show that you want answered, you can email me at toddthegator@gmail.com or send me a voicemail on our new SpeakPipe system at speakpipe.com/Destiny Help Desk. I want to help you out, so let's hear them. Thanks again for your time, and later, Guardian. I'm like glue. I just don't get off now.